Is that you, Lucy? Hi, Joe. Pretty. Hey, how are things? Boy, it must be late in Shanghai. Got to ask you, is the sound okay and the video? Hey, Andrew, how are you? Let me say this at the outset in case something happens. Um, we're in the middle of a pretty big storm, and there's a lot of thunder and lightning, and there's a lot of hail. So if all of a sudden everything goes blank, it's not yours, it's mine. So anyway, good to see it, Alexander. How are you? More rain. We got hail. Hey, Junior. Oh boy. I tell you, the last night I was looking at my iPhone weather. I broke up a little, but it's good now. Great. That's good to hear. Hope everything's settled down. Oh, oh yeah. There's a hi, Kaz. Good to see you, or good to see parts of it. Hear from you. Well, um, one of the things we talked about a little this morning is had a good friend of ours, our online watch friend, and some of us knew Bruce in person. Recently died of a of an illness that he had, and anyway, I just wanted to say something about that. Most people know him as Blue Shirt Buddha. Always a nice guy, gentleman, and it's one of those things. Um, Today, what I want to talk about, we had talked about some of this morning. We had talked about how things are, we're in the middle of a high inflation, high price, high inflation, high everything, and scarce goods. And sort of a post pandemic situation that we all hope will pass soon. We'll see. And, but in the meantime, question is what do we do for looking for watches? Hey, Paul, how you doing? Um, anyhow, um, so that was sort of what I was talking about. Yeah, yeah, he was. That was the thing. You know, there was Bruce was always kind to everybody. No matter what. Um, and that's he always had. I don't think you ever had anything bad to say about anyone or anybody's watch? Hey, how's it going, Hughes? See, by the way, Neo's Flippin' Zippo will be a memorial stream for Bruce in a week or so. Oh, good. That's good to hear. Yeah. Um, you know, it if if there's something we could add to that stream, I'd be glad to. We had some pictures of one of my favorite pictures is that Bruce and Adam and I at the 2019 Watch Time show, and we're just sort of we're hanging out. We had it was really funny because when during this time we had this wonderful talk with Stephen. Um, oh God, I don't want to say Gosher. Anyway, uh, of and anyway, it was a good time. I can't going. Today's been amazing day. We had one of the nicest days, and we went for a walk, and it was beautiful and everything. And now it's just turned to this rock and roll and thunder. Hey, Mark, good to see you. Uh, we have that picture of you guys at Watch Time. His wife Debbie sent us quite a few. Oh, good. Okay, great. Thanks, Hughes. Hi, Lee. Hello. How are you? I think Lee, we have some of that frackin' gulch weather, thunderstorms, hail. All we need is a tornado, and we're right in fracking Gulch. Great. Yeah, have flippin', let us know when that's going to be. Okey doke. Uh, so, um, like I said, this morning we were talking about some of the different things that had come up trying to get a hold of a watch and rough times to do it. Everybody's out of watches or they were trying to get the new ones in and so forth. Yeah. Hey, watch have it. Good to see you guys. Anyway, what I was doing after we talked this morning, I was thinking, well, let's figure out some ways, some things that watch collectors could do to get watches during this period. And one of the things it seemed to be a good idea. Now is not the time to collect watches, but rather if you have any that you want to sell, boy, get them out there in the auctions or eBay or wherever you like to sell watches. For some reason, the for selling watches, I've come to like the auctions a lot. I know it sounds funny, but there's a certain pain in the necks about it. But I think you can, at least I've been able to do pretty well that way. I have sold a watch on Chrono 24. That went fairly smoothly. It was weird. There was one guy uh, made an offer that I accepted, and he disappeared. Like, yeah, I'll buy it. Walked out the door. You got stuff like that going on, and um, finally, the guy who bought it was a sort of someone from my background. He's a professor, and you can sell them anything. Oh, anyway, so let's talk about this. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about, this might be, in addition, another way that you can get a watch and someone can move a watch, get rid of one, is trading. I done one trade, and the thing that's rough about trading, especially with friends, if your friend doesn't like the watch you have traded to him, or you don't like the one he gave to you, that's sort of a source of possible conflict. But yeah, for the most part, I got a watch I really, really wanted, and got rid of a watch I somewhat resented, but the other person really liked it. And so you can that's another possibility beside that. Hi, Joseph. What is the name of your YouTube channel? I'm interested in joining the stream. The YouTube channel is Watch Art Sci. Um, huh. I thought this is sort of. I guess it's not part of this, but anyway, it's sad. Hi, Thomas. Went to Watch Pro Salon in London today and met Rod. Wow, and Kari Boot and Lana. Yeah. Well, that must have been a lot of fun. I've met and had a real nice talk with Kari, but I haven't met Roger Smith. Roger Smith is a very interesting guy. Truth Fears. Hi, Truth Fears. Beauty of Scent. Where's the rancher? That's what we're all asking. Where's the rancher? He was with us this morning. Not sure where he is now. Um, hey, Steve, how are you? Okay, well, so let's see. Watches with interesting ETA-based applications that are 15 to 25 years old are usually fairly priced. Joseph, you're right. It's but the problem with those is that people have discovered them. This is what you have some by Gerald Genta, you have some by Daniel Roth, and uh, a lot of these I picked up too by Daniel Roth just right before everybody started grabbing them and the price went up. And so even they're the ones, I mean, everything has suddenly been discovered. But Joseph, I think you're absolutely right, is that the if you the more you find out about a watch, the more you know about it, the better off you are. I mean, the more likely you can find some things. One watch that I've been tempted on for years, this was excuse me, a Mont Blanc from 2011. That was a world timer. That was the one that won the Petit Aiguille back then. I think it was 2011. And but it's got an ETA movement. I've sort of the thing about ETA movements and that I always was sort of grumbling about wasn't the fact that they're that bad a movement because they're not. They are what they are. I always was sort of a little myth by when a company would use an ETA movement, it wouldn't tell you what it was because they are less expensive, in part because of the way they are produced and so forth. But the whole concept of one way to get some good deals is to really find out about more about watches, where sort of look where the other where nobody else is. It's sort of like um, trying to find gold where there's everyone's crowded around the same and panning the same place in the same river. The trick is to find either go upriver or find out more about where they are. And I think the best way to do it is to really clear your mind of a lot of different prejudices. There's another way too, another thing I think that a lot of people are beginning to look at, and that is some of these older movements, the sort of even pre-quartz movements, where a movement by Valjoux, for example, was considered to be really top notch, and to a great extent, even though they were bought by ETA, Valjoux still is, if you find it's not just an ETA movement; it's a Valjoux with an ETA brand on it. Okay, let's see. ETA versus Solida, which is worse? Well, Salida is something else too. I took one of these online courses they had a few years ago, and they gave me a Salida movement to take apart, and I took apart and lost parts and couldn't get it back together. But what I learned about them at the time was that Salida, in part, they made Salida movements were almost like licensed by ETA to make their movements because they couldn't keep up with the demand and they wanted, and somehow at that time, ETA wanted to sort of control the watch business by everybody using their movements. And they changed that at some time. Swatch changed it. But so Salida turns out to have some decent movements. I mean, they're basically uh, clones in the literal sense of clone of ETAs, and some have indicated that there's some improvement. Hey, Mark, how you doing, man? Um, do you know the name YouTube Flippin' Zippo's channel? I'm not sure what it is. Oh, wow. It's good to know, Mark. Yeah. Um, okay. Hi, Ray. How are you? Um, Bill from Manchester by the Sea. Where are you? Isn't that Mr. Gumby? Okay. Yeah, there are some good deals on oddball watches. Yeah, this is one watch I've talked about before was the Chaumet. And the Chaumet brothers were the ones who had bought Breguet and brought in Daniel Roth to sort of bring back Girard-Perregaux from the dead, really, almost, and, Roth did that. Unfortunately, the, Chaumet brothers they went broke because of some scam they were running, basically. They had some form of a combination of money laundering and bad investments. But Chaumet, that's one that, I it's one of those ones, if I see a really good buy on it, I think I'd pick it up. And there's one, especially one that they made this one with, an Agonor, uh, module in it. That's sort of cool. So those are some of the ones, and again, it has an ETA, base to it. The one we were talking about this morning, the, Hermès Suspendu, also had an ETA base to it as well. There's a rancher. Hey, Clyde, good to see you. Someone was asking, "Where's the rancher?" Well, now we know. He made it. Good to see you. Oh, Truman, thank you. Yeah, Shomea. I always forget, what my French is awful, but I try. There's certain words I've written out. For example, my Van Cleef and Arpels is air d'ici et d'ailleurs, and I doesn't the way I can read it to pronounce it somewhat like it. I have to write out the sounding of it. Shomea. Okay, I like that. Thank you. That sounds cooler anyway. Hey, Flippin' Zippo, we were just talking about you. Um, Flippin' Zippo, we are interested in this special program you're having for Bruce, and if you'd like to tell us about it, that'd be great. I was out picking up a vintage Matthew Tissot chronograph with a Lamania wound movement. See, this is a perfect example of where you can find things, and it's really it's a great example of it. Rancher, you came across at exactly the right time with the right watch, and knowing there's a difference between the Matthew Tissot and a regular Tissot. Very cool. Loose tooth. How's the watch project going? It's going. Right now, we're sort of in a waiting thing. We have to wait for different things to come into being, but it's moving along very well. Hi, guest 2798. The best way to buy watches is to look at it for extremely undervalued watches that you like, because worst thing that can happen to you is your watch stays undervalued and you don't lose any money. Um, there's something sort of along the same lines, guest, what name, is that is to buy only watches that you really like. I mean, you can, if you have a watch that everyone else hates for whatever reason, uh, who cares? It's your watch. You like it for whatever reason. I just noticed I was looking at this and my hand, I got it, I got it trapped in a sawhorse. I don't know how many. I mean, that's not easy to do, but I got crunched in a sawhorse with my hand, and I was waving around. So, huh, what happened to that guy's hand? That's all it is. Oh, let's see. Hermes watch for 4 to 5,600 retail, 7,500 deal. Retail, yeah. There are a lot of Hermes watches, and a lot of them have loose tooth. That is sounds like a comment the rancher would make. That's a good one. Um, Chaumet. Okay. Um, I will say it, whatever you guys say, whoever pronounced it last. Now, let's see. Now, what part of Canada are you from, Hughes? If you're from, Quebec, that's a hard thing about being a Canadian speaking French. The French are, "You don't speak it right. God knows the English were too kind to talk about my English when I lived there for a little while. Okay. All right. So I'm trying to think of some other ones. I think the easiest ones, a lot of the easiest ones, are 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 ones. Um, Tim, are you having a cocktail so early? Yeah, at 4 o'clock. Well, that's okay. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, as they say. Um, Probably, I think another way is to look at uh, watches, good watches from brands that are associated with other luxury goods. LVMH, for example, Louis Vuitton. Um, there's a Louis Vuitton that I got. Uh, it became my wife's Louis Vuitton called World Time. It's very colorful, and a lot of people saw it. They said, "How can you tell the time with that thing?" And it's a well, you can first of all, once you understand their sort of the color coding they use, it's very easy. And the base movement on it is an ETA. But they have oh boy, okay, here's another one I'll mispronounce. But LVMH has this sort of company within the company called I think Les Temps God, it's La Temps du Montes or something like that. But they have their own movement making now, and so watches with some of those movements from a luxury brand. Um, I think the the assumption that well, it's got to say Rolex or it's got to say Omega or it's got to say H Moser or one of the or FP Journe or whatever recognized watch company your watch is, I think is a for us people who wouldn't, for example, even look at an Hermes, I think are missing out on a lot of really neat watches, which is like I said for us really good, as well as let me try to see if I get it. Chaumet, is that how you pronounce it? Chaumet. Okay, I'll do the best I can. Um, I'm from Quebec. That would be a pronunciation Quebec or France or Geneva. Okay, I I won't argue. I have, I have 2 things. One is that my hearing is I've always had bad hearing. It just was shot from early on. And, so this was rough for me on a number of levels. But I love listening to it, even though I can't hear it as well. Somebody speaking French. Years ago, I was at the University of, Leiden in Holland, and I met this gal who was a PhD student in languages. And one of the things she said that I thought was really funny, she said, she went to England and she saw these little kids 5 years old and stuff running around, 5 and 6 years old. She said they spoke perfect English. You know, that's the thing. When I was in Holland, I saw these little kids running around speaking perfect Dutch, and it's just like, oh my God, look at that. And I don't know. French is something like I said. I'm on sort of this French lesson, and I think mon Dieu, this is I think the instructor's view of my Spanish. Um, yeah, okay. Oh, day toilet. Right, Jesus. Okay, can we come to the point? All right, Oliver, you're right. Strategies. All right, so the strategies you can look at, I think, are a number of them. One strategy I think is in trading, and this is just sort of to freshen up your collection and get rid of things that you're not too interested in. And it has the opposite effect on the person you're trading to. They freshen up theirs and they get rid of things that are you think are great and they just don't want anymore. Another strategy is really if what we were just talking about is going to a looking for good watches with decent movements. The idea that ETA movement is terrible, it's not terrible. It's just not, because it's not in-house. This is something I think they have a lot of different levels of them, and I don't have enough ETA movements to make any comments on it. I do have a Soprod, but it was turns out that really is sort of engineered by Seiko. So even though it was meant to replace an ETA 2892, uh, it's a fantastic movement. Now, some of the clones that I've had of, well, for example, you need a CTA 6498, big one. This one is, uh, again, Oliver, going back to the strategies, a lot of people really stick their nose up at Tissot's, but Tissot, the heritage, what's it called? The heritage, oh God, and it would have a French name. It's called the heritage. Okay, hang on. No, I know that's good. I just got a notice that says the if this got a little unstable there, it said that your connection is a little stable. Could be because of the storm I mentioned at the outset. Um, Speaking of the French, the Kering Group with Ulysse Nardin, are they going bankrupt, do you think? I you know, I don't think so. The Karen Group has another one in it that I like beside, Ulysse Nardin of it, but their watch department. Okay, all right. If you're getting weird things, from the video, it's not yours. I'm getting notices that, and like I mentioned that storm we were having, we're getting stormy. Okay, there were what are the watches that are in the Kering Group? There's another one beside Elise Nardin that's pretty well known. Is it Gucci? Is that it? It could be. That may be LVMH. But the thing of it is that if you know of those kinds of watches that have something interesting about them, this would be a time to try to get them, not because they're super good deals right now, but they're not super expensive like a lot of other ones were. Uh, Earlier, and they had my watch in there, except it was in gold, for $106,000. And I thought, who, what? It's really going neat. How about just unfashionable for no good reason, like Parmigiani? You know what's happened, Paul? That's a good question. Uh, Not long ago, this was like a few weeks ago, I found a whole bunch of really great Parmigiani deals at a place called the Watch Outlet. It's one of the Florida dealers, and now they're all gone. So no, I Parmigiani is I don't I it's really funny. I don't know why people don't like Parmigiani, but they don't. I would say that a lot of their designs are different. Okay, they um, they have those big horn lugs. I don't have one I can grab any distance. They don't have those big horn lugs on them. Another kind of thing, and this is sort of to have your sort of your own sub collection. This is my sub. I don't know why I keep it up here, but I do. And this is a hand wound. Um, oh boy, trying to think. Jacquet 736 movement, and just for the heck of it, I started collecting watches with the 736 movement. Nobody else, or very few people I know, can give a fig about that. Whoa. Okay, let's see. Chaumet. Oh, I like that. Peter, thank you. Chaumet sounds good. Prices of luxury goods are insane. 20 for a wristwatch or 10K for a bag, or 300K for a car is very difficult for me to understand, but maybe it's just me. Um, Heritage Poulet Foussé, you say? No. Are you guys having any problems with this? With the video? 'Cause I got this thing is saying you're with an unstable connection. This is what I was worried about because of the storm. Um, oh, good. Hey, listen, Peter, I I really appreciate that. Parmigiani, Tonda 1950 deals have basically all disappeared. Yeah, Hughes, they're great. They're very great. Because the name sounds like an Italian meal. Okay. Uh, uh-oh, is it time now? Oh, okay, I'm out of time. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Listen, things are starting to the wheels started falling off a few minutes ago. Okie doke. Hey, thanks everybody. And flipping Zippo, please, have some way to let us know when you do have that special thing uh, for Bruce. Thanks everybody. Take care. Stay safe instead of these stupid storms like we're having now.